Hey there, Mac users. Today we're going to show you how to get started with CommandBox using Homebrew as the installation method for the CommandBox binaries. Now, if you're not familiar with Homebrew, Homebrew is a package manager for OS X, much like Yum is to CentOS or Red Hat, or apt is for Ubuntu. If you're a developer, you're definitely going to want to have it installed on your machine because it includes all sorts of developer tools, servers, and it allows you to a great and easy way to manage keeping them up to date and installing them. So first things first, the only thing you need to do, because CommandBox is a part of the official Homebrew repository, is simply type in brew install CommandBox. And it'll go ahead and download the binaries for you. In this case, it's downloading the latest stable version of CommandBox, which is 3.0.1. It'll go ahead and pull those binaries down, install them, and then create the symlinks so that all you have to do from anywhere on your machine is type in box to start up an instance of CommandBox. If you haven't used CommandBox before, all you simply have to do is type help by each command, and it'll allow you to go through and explore all the different commands available to you. So let's go ahead and let this finish getting installed, and then we'll also show you how to install bleeding edge versions of CommandBox and stay up to date. And there we can see it's done. CommandBox has been installed 3.0.1, and if I simply type in box, it's going to tell us, hey, we're going to install some libraries for you. CommandBox has to install some of the initial project files, and once it does that, it'll go ahead and start up an instance of CommandBox for us. So let's go ahead and wait for this. It won't take long. And once it's done, you can see, wait for it, wait for it. There we go. CommandBox is all ready to go. So as I said, all you have to do is simply type in help, and it'll allow you to nest down. You can see a list of namespaces and commands, and by each of those namespaces or commands, you can simply type in help. So for example, ColdBox help will give you all sorts of information on what you can do for ColdBox, and you can drill down through each one and find out more about the different options to you, and commands and scaffolding tools available for you or to you with CommandBox. So let's go ahead and exit out of CommandBox right now, because if you're like me, you're going to want to stay up with the latest and greatest versions. CommandBox is heavily in development. They're always adding new features and formulas and commands and things like that. So what I'm going to do is actually going to install the stable version uninstall the stable version. And I'm going to prioritize the bleeding edge version. The best way to do that is to simply tap the Ortus Solutions box tap repo. In Homebrew terms, a tap means a group or a collection of formulas that can be used for Homebrew, or in our case, prioritize those formulas over the version in Homebrew, because Homebrew has a extensive pull request process for vetting new releases. It takes a little longer to get those bleeding edge versions over to the Homebrew repo. So the easiest way is simply to go brew tap Ortus Solutions box tap. And that's going to go ahead and tap the Ortus CommandBox repository. And we're going to pin that, which means we're going to prioritize anything that's in that tap over anything that's in Homebrew. So brew tap pin Ortus Solutions box tap. And once that's done, anything in there will be prioritized. Let's go ahead and install the latest bleeding edge version of CommandBox. Brew install devel. Notice the devel flag. What that says is we're going to install the development version. We're not going to install the stable version. CommandBox, and you can see it's telling us that CommandBox is already provided by the core, but is now being provided by BoxTap CommandBox. And it'll install 3.0.1 just like it did 3.0 or 3.1.0, just like it did 3.0.1. And in a moment we'll be ready to fire it up and be good to go. Wait for it. Wait for it. and 3.1.0 is now installed. We fire that up, type in box again, and it's going to tell us, hey, your files are out of date. So it's going to go ahead and update those libraries we just updated. So we'll have to wait for a moment, just like we did when it was initializing. And there we go. CommandBox 3.1.0 is installed. Let's exit out of there. Last but not least, you're going to want to be able to stay up to date with recent versions of the Bleeding Edge version. So when a new release comes out and becomes available, the easiest way to simply update that is to type in brew update. Now it's going to tell us everything's up to date at this point because it is, but if there's an update to the repository, the Homebrew repository or the Orta Solutions TAP, that brew update command will update both of those repositories to the latest, and you'll get those downloaded. And then we would simply type in brew upgrade devel, because once again we're using the Bleeding Edge version, command box. Now this time it's going to tell us it's already installed, but that command, were a new version available, would simply install a new version for you, and the process of starting up would reinitialize and repair all those libraries. So anyway, that's the overview of how to get started using CommandBox with the Homebrew Package Manager. Happy coding.